Hi everybody, I'm making this video because I just tossed 40 fighting videos onto YouTube, and many of you might be thinking, who's this guy that just put all these videos onto YouTube? And so I figured I better give some explanation to that. Well, I'm just some guy who's been practicing fighting and martial arts for 30 years. I started in the 80s at the Filipino Kali Academy in Torrance, California, near Los Angeles. I practiced there for 18 months, which was 18 months well spent under the teachings of Richard Bustillo. From there, I started a martial arts school in Florida for about 3 years and trained pretty hard. And at that martial arts school, I had kind of a, I'd say, a special way of training with my training partners, in that part of the routine was that the training partners had to go out and find out different moves, learn different styles, and bring them back into the martial arts school. It worked out pretty well. For 3 years, my training partners, and I call them partners because they brought as much into the school as I had hoped to give them from my prior training and my consistent training. So for 3 years I ran that martial arts school in Florida, then went to Japan, and for another 3 years studied Kempo and JKD in Japan. Came back to the United States and started a martial arts school in Texas. And that place had a history to it. It was originally a Mexican restaurant, which was then rented by the biker gang, the Bandidos. And I took it over after the Bandidos left. Nevertheless, I ran that martial arts school for a few years. And in all this time, I mean, if somebody does something for 30 years, he should have something to say about it and maybe learn something unique in that 30 years that that person is doing something. So this video is going to kind of encapsulate some of the things I think I might have learned in those 30 years of practicing martial arts and fighting, or whatever you want to call it. All right, I started out saying that my training partners at my dojos brought in to the dojo as much as they could. They were asked to do so. And they did. They did it willingly. So it was a symbiotic relationship between myself and my training partners. Notice I don't call them students because I don't feel like I was some kind of a sovereign or anything like that in charge of the dojo. Dojo means martial arts school in Japanese. But it was a very effective, symbiotic way of building our prowess with the martial arts. That particular school, we met 5 days a week, 90 minutes a day, and one of the requirements was that any more than 3 absences, my training partners were out, which kept the continuity going, which I thought was important. Okay, now speaking about what a dojo really is, all right? Again, a martial art academy is a dojo in Japanese. And dojo has 2 characters to it in Japanese. It's road and place. You can look at a dojo in different perspectives, but the way I see it is that there's a place with roads emanating from it and coming to it. That means that a dojo should have knowledge coming into it, and it should be emanating out in the form of its training partners or students, what it has assimilated into itself, and those students can take what they learn and take the roads out of the dojo if they no longer want to stay there. Now, this should not connote that the satisfaction with the dojo or the sensei within the dojo. If you are a student in the dojo, you have to show your respect. You have to show your fidelity to that dojo. But when the time comes when you see brighter pasture somewhere else, or you just are inquisitive and you want to learn more things, you take the roads out of the dojo. So A dojo, again, is a place with roads coming into it and roads going out of it. That is the Japanese literal translation of the characters that make up the word. All right. But is a dojo only a tangible place that you can touch, that you could walk in the door, and that, you know, it just stands there on the street? Maybe not. I think that a more deep meaning of a dojo is a place that exists within any individual that is wholeheartedly looking to increase his skill in the martial art. The dojo that you own is within you. You are your dojo. You are the roads that you are the place that the roads come into, that the roads emanate from. Your dojo could be a lot, an empty lot near a building. It could be a place on the beach. It could be a sandy meadow, or it could be an old warehouse like mine was. So that it's really irrelevant where the dojo is. What's more important is that the true martial artist imbues the concept of a dojo into himself, that wherever he travels or she travels in this world, he or she brings his dojo or her dojo with them, something like a turtle, but not really. Now, see, we can look at this as the metaphysical way of looking at a dojo. It is not tangible. It is not physical. It dwells within each person, and you bring into your metaphysical dojo what you learn, what you will learn, and what you have learned. And in that metaphysical dojo, you create. You take what you have learned, and you create from these things. There are so many styles. There are so many moves, innumerable moves, innumerable strikes, plenty of styles. And if there's 1,000 strikes conservatively in the martial arts, including the punches, the kicks, the traps, the submission, if there's only 1,000 moves, if that's permutated, it could mean there is 7 million different permutations of 1,000 moves. So as a metaphysical dojo, you take those moves and you create. Those are the roads that emanate from you, and you teach others that are willing to learn. So you are a metaphysical dojo that attends physical dojos and pays respect to the senseis there. I did write some notes here and see if I could follow through with them. All right, now, relatedly, that you might find that most of your time, as you progress on your journey through the martial arts, that most of your time is spent training by yourself. Training with other people is great. Sparring is an integral part of the martial arts. However, at least I have found that about 60 to 70% of my time has been personal training through necessity. Well, maybe it doesn't help that I'm a globetrotter and have been to at least exactly 50 countries. I might stay in the country 2 years, go someplace else, stay a few months. So it is really impractical to think that I can become a member of a physical dojo and stay there for a long time and ingest everything it has to offer. So, in these cases, if you do not have training partners to train with on a prolonged basis, you should develop a personal training routine. And this is a main reason that I put these videos onto YouTube, to help you in developing your training routines. And we will resume with the concept of personal training routines on the next video. Thank you.